Good evening. I have unmuted us this time, Brett, for once. Welcome to the Coach Show on Tuesday, the 30th of March. We're here.
Woohoo!
We're here to give you all things Keyforge, both the code event and other Keyforge news going on around. So, welcome to all of our many thousands of viewers, or 7, or however many we've got. How have you been, Brett? How's your week been?
A little bit ill, but getting a little bit over it. Other than that, fairly good. Just enjoying the countdown to Dark Tidings.
Oh, aren't we all? What's it? 9 days to go now. A week on Friday.
A week on Friday. Yeah, I think it should be a week on Friday. Yeah, damn, that's called for us.
Yeah, this year. I still think it's June, so I don't know where this year's gone. It's a bit surreal. We've got a countdowns keep changing though. Yes, Ultimate countdowns do keep going down. You're all right there. Thank you, Mr. Metafox. So we've got a few things to go through today. As it's been a long week for us, I'm going to just try and rabbit through the news as quickly as we can, getting through it because there's a lot on. So this is Brett's awesome new animation. What's up, that Brett?
That's just gonna let those who all the people that are here solely for the purpose of the quiz. There is no quiz this week.
Yes, unfortunately.
Band-aid off now.
And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do the quiz this week. There's only so many hours in the day that we can devote, get our team of highly skilled quizmasters devoted to writing quizzes. But we do have the metric slides to go through the metrics for those that are interested. So hopefully we'll be able to show it together.
I'm hoping everyone's liking the new animation. Chris was saying that it needed a bit of an update.
I said no such thing. You just decided it did. So let's go to the news then. So first of all, KOTE, what's happening this week? This is the playoff week. So for those who haven't been to a code event before, this week is where we give those who have finished at the top, near the top, but not at the top of each group, to try and win one of the last remaining 12 spaces in the top cut. We also have a second playoff for those who are not quite qualifying, or those who are just on the fringes of qualifying or not into the second cut, to see if they can make it into the second cut or not. The winners of the playoffs will go to the cut above. The loser of the playoffs will go to the cut below. So
if you're in the cuts, if you're in the playoffs for the top 32, if you lose, you're not out. You're just going to the second cut, along with the winners of the second qualifier.
And eight other teams who are auto qualified to that. So this week only, I think 24 teams are playing. I think. No, wait, sorry, 48 teams are playing.
Yeah,
I think they've all submitted decks, but we'll be chasing up over the next couple of days.
There's a few. There's the last few coming in now.
All the ones I looked at actually were submitted. We are extending the deck submission for playoffs until this time tomorrow, solely for those people who don't expect to qualify and suddenly discover they have qualified.
Exactly.
So that's fine. So next up, we have a feedback form. We've also put together a feedback form. Now, of course, I don't have do you have the link for the feedback form to hand, Brett? I've lost it off my clipboard.
I do not. You must put it in the.
No, I've got it here, man. So we've put together a feedback form here just to get someone's feedback on KOTE, but also to talk about the coaching and the buy. So the coaching question is, we have seen a very hot debate whether we should allow coaching or not. Coaching being where the team can impact the currently playing active player. Even in the admin team, there is mixed opinions, and so because there's no simple consensus here, thanks Jupiter. I don't know if your raid worked, but thank you for the raid.
We did get a notification for it.
But
there we go.
there we go.
Keyforge Premier League is raiding you with a party of one.
Awesome. No, you did it, man. You did it. Thanks for the raid. Coaching is one of the hot contested areas. The admin team is also split on this. We have asked, so we're taking to get the community feedback here, and the initial feedback is a complete three-way split between don't care, yes and no. But the community isn't going to have the final answer here. We are going to take this back as the admin team, but we wanted to take all the community comments and take it on board. So just to see where we are. The other question is around buys and how do we handle buys when we are having to do things cross groups. So because we have 12 groups and we need to share things out between groups, is there a system to use better than the current buy system, which would work fine if we weren't doing the top scores across groups? We are investigating that and looking at it.
That we've come across is that we don't want to punish teams for having a buy when compared to other teams, but we don't want to overly reward them. We're trying to find the right power scaling.
Yep, and we would never change this mid-event, which is what a lot of people was asking us to do, or so the impression I got was. So I'll put it out there: we are not changing this mid-event. The only one team who I accept for being grumpy because of the buys and drops rule is Beerforge. Yeah. They are the only team who are allowed to be grumpy, and that's simply because they are the only people to play Screech Bombs, before Screech Bombs dropped. And if they had a buy there instead, they would have come third, I think, in their group. But that's because
that's fourth. Yeah, I was looking at it. But yeah, Mr. Kong, as you said, we've had a lot of positive feedback about round robin rather than Swiss. It allows we've had a lot less drops due to round robin rather than Swiss. We've had we just had a lot of positive feedback about it because it's a lucky start or basically getting ahead early didn't have that much impact in the end. It was only once you got halfway through that you could start to see who was close to advancing, and every game mattered, which was really good. I think round robin was the best thing we could have done.
Yeah.
To get in the group stages.
And I plan to continue a round robin with the next events. Now, whether we have 8 groups, 12 groups, or 16 groups, purely will come down to number of teams entering.
That is the ultimate solution for the buy. Just have enough teams to fill every group.
Yeah, if we had 16 groups of 7, that's a lot of people. But guys, we're really keen to get people's feedback, so I'm going to jump the feedback form link in the chat again. Please spend 2 minutes, just answer the 3 yes/no questions, or if you have time, put some pros in there. We just want to get the feedback back to make sure we're refining this as we go. And as it always say, we refine at every event to make it slightly better than the one before.
We want to grow. We want to make this event as fun as possible for the community, and community feedback will help us with that.
Great. So now, to talk about the future, we aren't announcing the KOTE 9 format this week. That's happening next week.
You missed out on one very important thing off the thing.
What's that?
Our lovely new Patreons.
Oh yes. So we have. I don't know what happened this week. We almost doubled the number of patrons we had. We've now got 5.
Yeah.
So
we got one last week with the reveal of the KOTE 9 format, and then we got 2 more yesterday, I believe, which is really, really cool.
Yes.
To see them, and we've made sure they've been added to the credits.
Yes, and I remember going to you, Brett, saying, "Look, we've got to get a new patron." You went, "Yes, it's this person." I went, "No, it's this person," and then we had 2 new ones. I mean, it's really exciting just to have the ability that this is going to give us some cash to help fund prizes, help improve software, help improve quality of the stream. It's really great. So for those patrons who don't know what Patreon is, Patreon gives you a way to donate money to help us rent. If you are a Patreon subscriber, then you get access to the format before it's released, as well as other freebies and goodies. And with the £2, I think the £1 first tier, you get access to basically anything we post. At the £5 tier, you get the red key Discord role, and you get after 3 months, you get a print of the current uploaded art, which is the current KOTE 8 art. In 3 months, I'll update that to KOTE 9 once that's been done. And then other tiers have ones such as t-shirts, mugs, posters, all sorts going on there. And it's just a nice way for you can get back. The higher you go up, the more rewards you get from it. Yep. So you don't get any in-tournament benefits. Chris was very adamant that no benefits in tournament would come from Patreon.
But we're also going to try and perfect these, some 3D printed KOTE keys, and I might stick them on Patreon as well.
Awesome. They do look good. So KOTE 9, we aren't revealing the format for KOTE 9 to the public today. It's on Patreon for those who want to hand over some cash. Thank you. But next week we will be revealing it.
As Dr. Sheep said when he signed up, $1 and you can know all our secrets.
And let's be clear, it's only $1 because we couldn't make it any cheaper.
Exactly.
But we are going to tell you a couple of things today. So first of all, in the feedback form so far, a number of people have said they hope KOTE 9 doesn't involve multiple decks. And the answer is good news. Each team will only have a total of 3 decks to submit for the format, and those decks won't change through the event.
Chris was very adamant that after KOTE 7, where we had 5 decks, and after KOTE 7, where we had 360 decks throughout the entire event, and KOTE 8, where currently we're up to over 1,800 decks being played in KOTE 8, that this time we're sticking with 3 decks per team.
Yeah. Sorry, Dexa Keyforge. We didn't mean to overload your servers probably as much as I didn't realise we were doing.
Yes, Mr. Kong, there is a video for KOTE 9 explaining how it will work, and I've tried to make it as clear as possible, given that it is a bit more of a complex way to do it. Because even in the admin channel, we were a bit confused as to how we've done it, but I've broken it down as easily as possible. It's currently up on Patreon. It's going to go down over the weekend while I update it with the KOTE 9 art once Josie's got that done, and then it will go back up hidden for Tuesday's reveal.
Yeah. So yes, an Ultima Fox. That's 3 decks for the whole event. So should be, I would say a little easier, but a little harder too.
Yeah, we're going to take a 2-week break after this one, so we'll be starting on May 25th. And hopefully that means that we'll also be able to accept Dark Tidings.
Yes, well,
fingers crossed.
I'd expect we'll be able to by then, but we'll see. It all comes down to what's ready. Brett and I know Tom are both looking and considering the possibility of running a couple of 2-day events in that gap. We are still discussing exactly what that's going to be. But
Tom's got an idea of what he wants to do. I've had an idea I think is quite fun. I'm going to bring that to the admins tomorrow, and then next week, in 2 weeks, once I've been able to make a video detailing that event, we'll get that one going up as well. But that'll run in the 2-week break that we're having between KOTE 8 and KOTE 9.
Yeah. But so all details. This is not confirmed. This is just something we're looking at doing here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
TBD.
TBD, yeah. So next, ABR man.
Okay, I'm looking at different. I'm looking at last week's. That's what I'm going with. ABR, where's Flame Hubble? So, big shout out to Flame Hubble. He sends me a giant block of text every week. So, last week was Triad, which means that we had a glut of 300 decks. Oh, 300 decks.
Oh, I wish we had 300 decks.
Each player had to bring 3 different sets, which meant an extreme lack of AOA, which, that's to be fair. Only 18 players brought out AOA, with 99 players bringing Water Clyde, 93 players bringing Mass Mutation, and 90 players bringing KOTE. KOTE was actually the least representative of the 3 main sets. With Bromnar and Mars being in 15 and 26 decks respectively, Disclobus and Shadows bringing out the majority of decks. The most popular card by far was Infernus, showing up 125 times, with Wild Wormhole, Control the Weak, Gateway to This, and Ronnie's bringing up Rear. But onto the results. Z-Force Agents managed to take down the Fuzzy Bunch Goons. Dusk Runners took down Bo Niffing's boat with both problems. Hobo's Revenge took out Flumph, there it is, by 7-3. The Quixel Heads took down the Plague Rats 6-4. And the Big Green Gourmets threw out the Riders of the Damned, which was the featured match, so please do go check that out, it seems quite good. But with the Z-Force agents taking down the Fuzzy Bunch 9-1, that does mean Z-Force agents have now moved into the lead at 48 points, with Bo Niffing Gold Problems trailing behind at 45, and Hobo's Revenge sneaking up the rear at 42. So there's a few weeks left, but it looks like it's starting to heat up in the top 3 spots.
It definitely sounds exciting.
Oh, definitely.
So moving on to AFK this week. So apologies for those who suddenly lost breath for a second while I grabbed my notes. The weekly AFK tournament this Thursday is the Bibliothèque de Africa. The format is adaptive short series. Players will receive 3 decks and choose which one to use. However, all decks will come from the AFK library, collection of decks of the association for members to borrow. It's €5 entry, 8 p.m. French time, which is 7 p.m. our time, I think.
It should be 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, they're great players. It's a great event, and I wish them well. Next,
They introduced some very interesting formats
and consistent quality formats as well. Yeah. So, on to the next topic, DOK updates, Brett.
Yes, so we're looking at on Thursday, the 1st of April coming, which means that we have Dex and Keyforge bringing the updated SAS ratings, as well as, for those who are not on the Dex and Keyforge server, private messaging. Looks like they're going to try and incorporate a private messaging system, so when you're doing sales, when you're interested in a deck, rather than things going straight through to emails, it's going to be able to just be done directly through the Dex Keyforge site, which to me seems like a much better way to do it. Not everybody checks the emails, not everybody has email alerts set up, but a lot of times people are more on Dex Keyforge than they are on emails in my situation.
Mm-hmm.
There will be an option to turn it off for anything other than sales, so you won't just get a private message about a deck. But you see a lot of times when you're on the Facebook groups, when you Discord, when you Reddit, people are like, oh, does anyone know the owner of this deck? Does anyone know who this person is? Now you'll just be able to directly message them and be like, I'm interested in this deck. Or you'll be able to send a message going, is it cool? I want the price, here it is. How much to send it here? Boom, done. No emails, no personal information going out there. It's just a simple case of, I like this deck. And it seems like that's a really good update, and I really hope they can get it implemented on Thursday.
Yep, sounds good. Also, a big apology from me for the KOTE website's use of Dex and Keyforge. I didn't realise quite how much impact or pressure we were running on it. I don't know if it was a problem for them or not, but they made some changes to some underlyings of the APIs this week, and needless to say, I've rewritten our entire Dex and Keyforge integration today because, yeah, we were possibly doing a couple of thousand calls an hour. About 10,000 calls an hour against them, which we didn't need to do. So that's now being fixed. Now this does mean that when the SAS update occurs, we will probably be a little bit delayed by a few hours, probably not more than that, before we reflect it, because I have to do some recache some stuff. But apart from that, we should be good. And
we've already seen teams registering well in advance for just in case they do advance to get around the SAS update, with Sloppy Level registering their top 4 teams, No Kanga Fans in Austria registering their top 8 decks. It's good to see these guys being so optimistic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Brett, my team will be registering their finalist decks this week. We're that confident. I'm
telling you, if you win the qualifier and make it into top 32, you're going to be the featured game next week.
I'm going to have to throw the game on principle then. I've still not won a game yet this event, and my captain is going ballistic at me. On to the final thing, KFBL. So thanks for that from Jupiter as well. Great to see KFPL going strong as ever. So that's it for the news.
Have you got? Actually, it's not, because Jupiter did put some extra news in the contributor channel for these new, the new event coming. The list.
Go for it. I did not read that. That's my bad.
So I'll put the YouTube link up in for everybody, but it is essentially what we've been seeing quite a lot of coming around, a King of the Hill style tournament, aka the list. You make your way to the list. Unfortunately, I've been quite busy today getting the final stuff done for the streaming, getting the top cut stuff done. So I've not been able to check it out. I put a link in there. Do check it out. King of the Hill is something that there should be a lot more of in Keyforge. It's a perfect format for Keyforge because you have your deck and you are the King of the Hill with this deck, and it's brilliant. But I imagine Jupiter's put some crazy stuff in there with formats and restrictions on challenging, and I'll be checking it out after this. But for now, there's the link, and best of luck to Jupiter and the Archon Prime guys for getting this going.
No, that'd be awesome. And apologies, Jupiter, for not playing the video here. I had a strategic nap and didn't have time to go back and read all the Discord again. So we will share the video next week if we remember. So
if Jupiter's free next week, you can always join me on the stream because unfortunately you're unavailable.
Yeah, I'll be running after a puppy because my wife is working. So yeah, he's welcome to come on board. So let's move on to the metrics. So press the right button.